ngalweni ngiyokhalela bani nayi iphimbo lami liphindaphinde entabeni ngithi inyawo zami ngibeleze kulo mhlaba nemsindo ngifunana noxolo ey'ngalweni kukhala izimayemaye emzini kamkhulu umkhondolo usekhaya.
There's a question, and the question is, who wrote your curriculum? Be careful of an education that teaches you everything except yourself. Sawubona to you, sawubona to yours, from one great spirit to another. Welcome to Ubizo Daily. Today we ask a question many people were never trained to ask. Not what did you study, but who designed what you were taught? Who decided which histories matter? Which civilizations deserve praise? Which inventions are remembered? Which languages are protected? Which stories are repeated? And perhaps the most dangerous question of all should be, why were you taught so much yet so little about yourself? Let's talk about the education system and never being neutral. Let us begin with truth, as we always do. Education is not neutral. Curriculum is political. It reflects power. Whoever controls education shapes future generations. They shape economic behavior. They shape political obedience. They shape cultural identity. And colonial powers understood this deeply. Why conquer people physically if you can shape their children mentally? Let's speak about the manufacturing of inferiority. Many African children, Alkebulan children, were taught Europe discovered civilization. They were taught that Europe discovered science, that Europe discovered medicine, philosophy, and architecture. And our continent? Alkebulan Africa? Slavery, poverty, tribal conflict. That was often the summary. Entire civilizations erased, Kingdom of Kush ignored, Mali Empire minimized, Kingdom of Mapungubwe overlooked, Great Zimbabwe distorted. This was not accidental. A child disconnected from historical greatness becomes easier to dominate. Let's speak about how this education system is producing workers and not builders. Many education systems were designed during industrial eras. Follow instructions, memorize information, pass exams, seek employment, obey systems, with very little emphasis on entrepreneurship, land restoration, institution building, psychological freedom, community economics, and nation building. Many graduate prepared to seek jobs, but not prepared to build industries. With that being said, let's speak about the psychological cost. This creates a dangerous cycle. People become highly educated, yet deeply disconnected, ashamed of their language, ignorant of indigenous knowledge, dependent on external validation, financially trapped, spiritually fragmented, and then society calls them successful. But successful at what exactly? Repeating inherited systems? Education must become liberation. Imagine education that teaches our history as Black people, sons and daughters of the soil. Education that teaches agriculture, technology, indigenous medicine, financial literacy, infrastructure development, governance, language preservation, spiritual ethics, conflict resolution, institution building. That would produce builders, not merely employees. And mother continent, Alkebulan, desperately need builders. And just before we close, let's speak about rewriting the intellectual future. The responsibility now belongs to us, parents, teachers, artists, farmers, filmmakers, scholars, traditional knowledge keepers as well. And we can't not have this conversation without including as well entrepreneurs. From one great spirit to another, we must become curriculum creators. We must teach what systems excluded. We must preserve what colonization attempted to erase, because education that disconnects people from themselves is not education. It is programming. So today, ask yourself, Did your education prepare you to build your people or simply survive within somebody else's system? Because the future of Alkebulan cannot be merely outsourced to borrowed curriculum. And true education, it begins the day a people remember who they are before they were taught who to become. Until next time, okuhle, umusa, kanye nokukhanya ekuhambeni kwakho. Light, mercy, and blessings on your path. Ubizo Daily. The call continues.